in the paddock, lawn caretakers begin to prep for spring. The voice behind the Lego Forage Specialist comes out. We go inside of the clover for extension work, and the Teacher of the Year shares her thoughts.
I'll be like, whoa, we gotta make a TikTok. That was funny. We gotta do that again.
Hello and welcome to the Paddock. I'm McKenna Nettles.
And I'm Samantha Shackelford. This week is spring break here at ABAC, and just like our campus, we are taking a break from some of our regular features like weather and markets. Instead, we have a set of stories that are guaranteed to bring a smile to your face.
If you know anything about extension, you probably know 4-H, but there is more to it than just the clover. Amy Herring is here to take us inside the walls of our local county extension office.
People think of 4-H, they think of an after-school club for children, but it's so much more than that. It's about education, planning, and community support. From soil and health production practices to youth development and leadership, Extension plays a key role in supporting current farmers and the next generation of agricultural leaders.
You know, you've heard that the youth is the future leaders or the future the generation, or the current kids are our future. So we want to be able to give them the best opportunity to be thriving adults. It is a very rewarding job, but it's also an all-consuming, time-consuming job if you let it. There's always something that needs to be done, always something to do. So you need to be able to say when enough is enough, when you need to have healthy boundaries because you cannot pour from an empty cup. And at the same time, like, this is really very important work. Person for them, that 4-H agent, you need to know, is this truly what you want to do? So contact your local 4-H office, ask for volunteer opportunities. If you want to get paid by doing it, we offer summer internship programs. We also have AmeriCorps programs where we actually have had success with ABAC students who are part-time AmeriCorps members, and they're able to live a life of a 4-H agent as college kids, to be able to get trained early on and know if this is really where they're supposed to be.
If you'd like to learn more about a career with Georgia Extension, visit extension.uga.edu and look for the About tab.
Small plastic building toys and endless fields of nutrient-rich grass. These are two things that don't seem to click together. But recently, I met one ag professional who is using one to educate about the other. As the only forage extension specialist in the state of Georgia, Associate Professor Lisa Baxter has created a surprising marketing tactic, one that started as a joke but proved to show promising results.
Our goal in an extension program is to, first we represent that brand. That extension brand is strong. It has a strong loyalty base throughout Georgia and the country. But beyond that, we want to be recognized as individuals within that system. So the Lego started as a joke. Everybody thinks it was some big marketing ploy with a plan. There was no plan at the beginning. The main way through outreach is I love Lego, and I have my Lego Forage Specialist that goes everywhere with me on outreach events, and that's through my social media, through print, through everything. She's done interviews. It's been a whole thing. And so when you see a Lego brick in a hayfield, people think of me first.
Through 4 different platforms, she has over 500 followers with over 70,000 views a year on Facebook alone. She is able to educate producers young and old. With such a wide audience, she gets her message across with the same meaning, but in different styles.
The granddaughter of one of our longtime cattlemen and that we get a lot of community support from, they had been bonding over the post, and I had no idea. And so his granddaughter had built me little Lego cows because she noticed I didn't have any cows in my office, and she thought the Lego needed her own cows, just like I have cows. And so she built the cows, made him bring them to a a cattleman's event, so he came carrying them up like this to me. And so now they sit on my desk for Mansley.
Having a brand that brings generations together helps build people's confidence. Dr. Baxter works hard to keep the Lego's appearance in such a positive way that she's the first person people turn to when they have forage questions.
If you'd like to follow along with the adventures of Dr. Baxter and her plastic alter ego, search Lego Forage Specialist on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Spring break brings a much-needed rest for the students, but it also offers an equally important pause for teachers. Our Jarek Walton had the opportunity to speak recently with someone about advocating for those teachers and the important work they do. The 2025 Georgia Teacher of the Year.
Here today, we have one of the Georgia Teachers of the Year and also the very first ag teacher to become the Teacher of the Year, Miss Rachel Kinsall. So Miss Rachel Kinsall, can you please explain how does Teacher of the Year works?
So each district, or each school, I guess I should start, each school selects a Teacher of the Year. And at the school level, that could look a little bit different. Some schools are nominated by teachers, and then there's a process within each school. But then the districts will select a Teacher of the Year, and the districts then submit their Teacher of the Year to the state. And so once you get to the state process, there's an application process that happens. You're answering questions like, what are some initiatives that you've started in your classroom, or what are some ways that you've broken down the walls of your classroom and incorporated the community, things like that. From your applications, top 10 are selected, and then you go in for interviews with a panel of, it's a big panel, 15 to 16 people on the panel, and then that panel selects the state Teacher of the Year.
Okay, well, I have been seeing a lot on social media about the Georgia Teacher of the Year that do a lot of traveling, and I think that you miss your students, right? Because I know that's very hard for you.
Yes.
So how does it feel?
Yeah, so as Teacher of the Year, I am out of the classroom for the year, which was hard for me to accept at first. I originally said, I'm not doing it. I'm not stepping away from my classroom. Then I kind of came to the realization that this was something that was bigger than me and felt like was a really amazing opportunity for ag education. And so I ultimately, obviously, decided that I would take the role and step away. It's been really hard for me. I am still pretty involved with my ag program. I feel like it's a little different than an academic teacher in the sense that ag teachers have students year after year after year throughout their high school journey, and are kind of setting kids up for projects and supervising SAEs and stuff like that. So I'm still at Morgan County High School when I can be, helping out with the livestock barn. I'm still helping a lot behind the scenes, ordering flowers, working on proficiency applications and things like that, so I can still stay connected with my students. And I think that's helped me a little this year, stay grounded, remember why I'm in this position. But it's also been a neat opportunity. I mean, I understand why they want to pull us out of the classroom. I'm traveling a lot, and I think, writing sub-plans for my absent days would be tough. So I get it, and it's been tough, but I feel like I've been able to balance it enough where I'm still getting a lot of everything out of the experience, but being a part of my classroom too.
Okay. Well, also, you are very known of your TikToks also, and I also watch your TikToks. So what are you trying to advocate in your TikToks?
Look, if my former students, I hope they hear you say that you know me from TikTok. They're probably all rolling their eyes. They give me a lot of grief about it, but I know they like it too. My big point, TikTok, originally I kind of started it as like a way to connect with my students. As an ag teacher, there's a lot of downtime. You go to a livestock show and you hurry up and you sit and you wait. And you go to a contest and you're finished and you're sitting and waiting on results. And so it kind of was this opportunity to do something fun and connect with students in a lot of that downtime, wait time. Then it kind of morphed into this, like, people don't understand what ag teachers do every day. It's a crazy world, I feel like, that we live in, or a lot of teachers think that. So it kind of turned into a way for me to be able to share what I'm doing every day. I would love to do more day in the life. I'm just not very good at remembering to film every part of my day. My students always laugh at me because something will happen. I'll be like, whoa, we got to make a TikTok. That was funny. We got to do that again. So I think it's just been a really neat way to share my story and kind of share what's happening in ag education, what's happening in my classroom, and be able to connect with my students.
Okay, so what advice do you have for like teachers or upcoming teachers that want to do the same thing that you are doing of advocating?
I really think, that last question really flows into this one really well, because the biggest piece of advice I can give you is to share your story and get out into your community. I think so many of the opportunities that my students have had have come from my community involvement and really plugging them into the community. And so I think that's like my biggest piece of advice is to share your story, get involved in your community. When people in your community know who you are, they're going to come to you with opportunities that you would have never imagined. So get to know your community, share your story.
Yes, ma'am. So this is a big question. After the 2020 year is over with, what will be next for you in 2027?
Well, as of yesterday, I was named a top 5 finalist for National Teacher of the Year. So I will go in March 5th and 6th to Washington, D.C. to interview for the National Teacher of the Year. If I am selected, then that means another year out of my classroom doing the same thing that I'm doing now, but on a national level. So instead of traveling all across the state, I'll be traveling across the country, advocating for ag education and agriculture and education in Georgia. If I'm not selected, then my plan is to go back to the classroom. I love my classroom. I feel like this has been an amazing opportunity, but my work is not done there. I'm not ready to walk away from that. So I won't say that I will never move into administration or do anything else, but I'm not to that point yet. I definitely feel like there's still work for me to do in my classroom in Morgan County High School. So I really am, I think I really am at peace about whichever way this goes. Would be happy to go back into the classroom, and it would be an amazing opportunity to get to travel across the country. So, but yeah, we'll see.
Rachel Kinsall, Georgia Teacher of the Year.
The National Teacher of the Year will be announced later this spring. We wish Ms. Kinsall the best of luck.
Finally, today, spring is upon us now, and lawn care workers are gearing up for the season. For a look at how they are getting ready, here's our Connor Hunt.
It's hard to believe here at ABAC that the temperature is already starting to change. And with that means the grass is going to start growing. If you look here behind me, you can see all sorts of dead grass. But here in just a few short months, that grass is going to start growing. It's going to be a lot to handle. So today, we're going to take a chance to be able to look at a few things to help you get your lawnmowers going for the new grass growing season.
Penny Chestnut is a Tifton local and has experienced all sorts of different weather seasons and changes in technology for lawn care. She's going to give us just an insight of what it's like to be a homeowner and land caretaker.
Probably 50 years or more. And I've cut all over the place. Cut when I was a child at home, cut here, cut at our other house we used to have, cut at work, because it's hard to get other folks to do something, so you got to do it yourself. So yeah, all over the place.
What would you say is the biggest problem you have cutting grass?
At this place, it's roots. Roots will tear up your mower. It will kill those blades and tear them to shreds. That's the biggest thing around here because there's trees everywhere.
Would you say you're getting excited for grass cutting season to come back around?
Do I look like I'm stupid? No. You do what you have to do. No. I always told my husband, if you ever see me out in this yard just because I want to be there, you better call somebody. I need to go to the home right then and there.
How would you say it was when you first started cutting grass?
All right, when I first started cutting grass, the old lady behind us, she didn't have anything but one of those push mowers. And I'm talking about push mowers. It's got those blades that go around and around. I mean, you actually pushed it. And then we went from there to, the mower that you pushed it, but it had the blades in it, did all that automatically. And then I tell you what, though, the best thing is here. And if we just had one of those little zero turns, oh, that'd be heaven.
How happy did it make you when you finally got married and you had a man in your life to start cutting the grass for you, start making him do it?
Oh, honey, that was heaven all over. Yes. But I have helped him some, but the last time I helped him, he had a comment to say about how I cut grass. So I just told him, I said, that's it. That's it. If you can't take it the way I cut it, you can cut it yourself. So I don't have to cut much. I'm just out here today having fun with the grandchildren.
You're leaving your equipment sitting for a while and you're using ethanol in your gas. Ethanol actually eats away at your gas tank. It can, and it can cause problems for your equipment, especially if it's sitting in fuel lines. So if there's a piece of equipment that we're not going to be using for a while, we'll drain it. If there's equipment that we use intermediately through the winter, maybe a chainsaw or a blower or a pole saw, we'll put non-ethanol gas in it. But then coming back in the spring season, looking at all your equipment, maybe for a homeowner, you haven't been using a lawnmower in a while, and so you need to do your things. You need to check your oil. That's a big one. That's the first off. Check your air filters too, especially if you haven't been using it in a while and you've been doing other stuff. A lot of people, if they haven't been using their lawnmower but they've been using their blower a bunch, they've blown a bunch of junk up into their air filter. They'll have to check that as well. Maybe need a new one. Checking your gas, especially if maybe your little kid was out in the yard running around the lawnmower one day and he left the gas cap open, didn't tell you, and then close it back. That happened one time, and you get water in your gas and you'll end up with a headache because you don't think about that. And so you always need to check your gas the best you can, if possible. But for us, really is getting changing the air filters, checking the oil, checking all of our equipment. There's some wear and tear tires, especially with our trailers. If you haven't been using them for a while and they've been sitting, especially once you get in the winter and the cold and the heat, it can mess up tires. And so we need to check your air pressure in your tires. If you've lent equipment over the break and you're not using your equipment and someone else is using it, you got to check all that for any wear and tear and damages as well. So, but that's one of the biggest things coming from out of season back and into season. So
That's all, folks. I hope you stay safe cutting this season. For the Paddock, I'm Connor Hunt.
UGA Extension recommends that no more than 1/3 of the leaf be removed in a single mowing. To take off more exposes the grass to disease and insect threats. Well, that will wrap us up today.
Be sure to join us back here next week for more Ag and ABAC news. In the Paddock, I'm McKenna Nettles.
And I'm Samantha Shackelford. Jee-haw, y'all.